Hi everyone, I'm Mick. Welcome to my shop. So this video I'm going to be refurbishing a milling attachment for the old Clausing 100 lathe. I got it a while back and it's really in great condition, but it does need to be cleaned up and polished up and painted and made ready for use, and needs some new vice jaws. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started on the teardown of this milling vise attachment for the Clausing lathe. It's going to go pretty fast. I'm not going to go step by step through this. It's a pretty simple thing. So let's just get it apart. Well, everything was going swimmingly up until this point. I don't know if that screws in or is pressed in. But it's not coming apart unless that comes out. It looks like that may be an aftermarket repair, but I don't know, I can't really tell. Well, I may have to do this refurbishment with that in place, which is not impossible because these mating surfaces are just going to be cleaned up anyway. Looks like I'm not going to be able to get to all of it, but I can get to all but about a ½ inch. And it's starting to feel like just with some lubrication those will clean up. And I'd like to get it apart though. And I'd like to get that gib out of there. I have a feeling though that, oh, look at there, I might get the gib out. There we go. Alright, there's that. Still ain't going to help with that though. Alright, I gotta take this over to the vise so I can hold it. Success! It was threaded in. Well, that's an odd looking. Alright. Oh yeah, I'm glad I was able to take it apart. There's very, very little rust on this at all, but it looks like where there is, it's right here. So I'm glad I was able to get that apart. Alright, I'm going to get this dried off and cleaned up, get the grease and oil off of it, and then mask it up and sandblast it. And then we will look at these parts, finish taking this apart, and buff and polish and clean all of this up. Nice little small project, but I like these kinds of projects. Alright, see you later. Alright, everything is all taped up, masked off, as they say, and ready to go in the sandblaster. I'm not going to be able to record that. It is way too noisy and dark and dusty, so I will show you the results afterwards though. Alright, and now it's sandblasted. So I'm going to give it a good wipe down with some acetone, try to get all the dust and dirt off, and give it a quick coat of paint. Okay, so got the parts painted and the masking removed. So now I'm going to get all the rest of the parts that are going to be bare metal cleaned up, and get the gib cleaned up and get the burrs off of it. Take this thing apart, get all the rust, and really not much rust. It's like really, really light surface rust. And kind of polish and clean all this stuff up. There's a few sharp edges that I want to hit with the stone, and then I think this thing will be done. So I'm going to pop these parts in the ultrasonic cleaner, see how much longer this little jar of cleaning fluid lasts. It turns pretty much black the first time you use it, so, but I'm pretty sure it'll still be good for a while. Let's get this popped in the ultrasonic cleaner and then start cleaning up the rest of these. Okay. Not too bad. Been abused a little bit, it looks like. It's got some plier marks there on the end. And it looks like somebody put it in backwards once. Could certainly be a lot worse. I'll take it over to the deburring wheel and clean up these ends. They got a little burr, and level these out. Maybe I'll do that with a stone first. See how that goes. Much better. Okay, I'm going to go disassemble this thing and clean it up. I think I'm just going to use the Scotch-Brite pad on these parts, but this handle I think I might polish. So, get it apart and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, got that all apart, and I hit this lightly on the wire wheel. Came out pretty nice. Touch it up right there a little bit. Alright, I think I got this nut in there just a little bit cocked, so I'm going to take it out and redo it. Or turn it just a little bit. See if I can get this to go a little bit easier. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it's cocked a couple degrees. I wonder if I can adjust that with that. Maybe. I'm gonna go try it. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Alright, very cool. Now, I need to make the jaws. The jaws for this just float in here, and they're clamped down with these screws. Figure I'll make them about 1/2 inch each. Oh no, that's too thick. Alright, well, we'll see. I'll play around with it, figure out how thick I want to make them, and the pictures that I've seen of these, the jaws typically have a V-groove cut in one face for holding round objects. So, yeah, so I'll make those, and then this little project is done. I'll have to put it on the lathe and just try it out, make something with it. This would have been nice to have before I got my mill. I actually tried to make my own, and that was a disaster. Just way too heavy. Okay, so I'm trimming up some pieces on the bandsaw here for the jaws. I'm just cutting a thin slice off the one end to get rid of the mill scale, and then we'll flip them around and cut them to length. Alright, so I've got the first vice jaw set up in the mill, and we're just going to take a skim cut. I'm using the Shrum Tri-Fly. Usually leaves a really nice finish, but it is an interrupted cut. Okay. some funny marks on it, but looks like it made a pretty nice cut. I'm going to take it out, deburr it, flip it over, and cut the width to dimension. Alright, I'm going to take a cleanup pass on this side and then measure to see how much I have left to take off. The width of the jaws is supposed to be just a hair over an inch, 1.03, so an inch. So I'm just going to measure down to the parallel here and see what we got. Excuse me, I've got 1.22. So I need to take off 0.22. Okay, so I've got the vice jaws milled to thickness and height, and now I'm going to trim off this end. I've got a stop ready so that when I do the final cut to length, I don't have to measure the second jaw. So let's get started. All right, do the next one, and then want to mill a V-groove in the top of the second one, and then the machining operations are pretty much done. Alright, I'll bring you back when the second one is ready for the V-groove. So I've got an edge finder set up. I'm going to use it with the half function on the DRO to find the center of this, so I can mill a V-groove down the center. I don't know if I've ever shown this on a video before or not, but I've got this little adapter, or whatever you want to call it, for my edge finder. This is made by Starrett, so it's very accurate, very high quality, held on with a little grub screw. And the nice thing about it is it has all these different sizes, so depending upon what collet you have in the spindle, there's a good chance it'll fit and you won't have to go get the collet just for this. So I just leave it on there, and that's the way I use it. It's very, very handy little tool. I think I picked it up from Little Machine Shop, and it was cheap. Alright, the milling vise is done. It's not perfect, but you know what, it's usable. I decided not to try to do any filling or body filler or anything on this. I just left it the way it was, cleaned it up. The jaws, the blued jaws are in there. Everything is nice and clean. I've got a piece of aluminum stock mounted in it and trammed in. And I've got a 2-flute milling cutter in the end mill in an ER32 collet. So let's try it out. Move you over here so you can see a little better. Alright, I've got the end mill touched off on the top of the stock and on the end. So I want to raise the stock. Let's do a 10,000th. So right now, no DRO on this. Alright, that should be 15 thou and a 1/4 inch in. I'm climb milling here, so that's not working out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the other side and come back into it. No, yeah. Alright. Conventional milling now. Alright, not something I'd want to have to use every day for milling, but I wish I would have had this before I got my mill. And you know, there's probably applications that it would come in handy. I mainly wanted it because it's one more accessory for this lathe. It's an old lathe, and I think all the accessories that I can gather up for it just add to the uniqueness and desirability of this old Clausing Model 100. So thanks for watching. If you liked this, please subscribe, hit the like button, it really helps out, and I'll catch you later. Bye.